As some of you may know, when it comes to children, I am very passionate. Children are our future. They are beings learning the way in this world. They learn through exploring, with responsible parents guiding them. Accidents happen for sure, because parents aren't perfect beings. I'm not a perfect being when it comes to my son, but I try my best to be. He doesn't know that he shouldn't jump on the bed because he could hurt himself. He just thinks it's fun to do. He doesn't know that he shouldn't run out into the road because he can get hit by a car. He just wants to go to get where he wants to go. He doesn't know that he can't touch the stove because he can burn himself. He just has a strong curiosity and his brain urges him to explore. This also goes for Onision'S daughter, who doesn't know jumping out of a window isn't a good idea. Not just any window, but the second-story window. Yeah, you heard me right. Onision'S daughter jumped out of the window, falling headfirst into the pavement of their driveway. I am going to be raging hard in this video because this poor girl doesn't have a voice. She is a child that loves her parents unconditionally. The parents that she has doesn't deserve her nor her brother. I've been avoiding talking about Onision'S children for obvious reasons. I didn't want to drag them into this mess, but they are silent victims. They need help. I beg you all to make as much noise about this situation as possible. Their children can't scream out for themselves because everything they are going through, they think is normal, because they believe this to be their normal. Please don't let this situation slide under the rug, because what happened next only makes this whole situation worse. On September 12th of 2019, the police were called to the Jackson household because it says James, he changed his legal name, so I'm just gonna call him Greg because we all know him by that, Jackson, called the police because his 2-year-old daughter has fallen out of a second-story window by pushing the screen out of the window. The police officer was familiar with the Jackson residents already due to many calls to the police department by viewers on YouTube to child services in which he went out to assist them. While speaking with Kai about what happened, Kai said that he went to make dinner, so he put their 2-year-old daughter in her room alone to watch TV. What is wrong with that sentence? She says she put this 2-year-old upstairs in her room by herself because her 5-year-old son was downstairs watching a different program on the TV. Are you kidding me? I have an 18-month-old. I don't let him out of my sight long. He is constantly getting into mischief because of his curious nature that all young children have, by the way. You really think a freaking 2-year-old would just sit there quietly up in her room to watch TV? She should at least be a room away from you so that while you are cooking, you could peek in on her from time to time. That's just negligence. When I was five, the age of your son, I remember I was watching Peter Pan and my dumb self grabbed a tube of glitter that I had, climbed up on top of my bookcase and shouted, "I can fly!" while pouring the glitter all over me. Luckily, my silly self landed on my bed, but I could have been seriously injured, and I was 5. Not 2, but 5. Are you kidding me? Putting a 2-year-old in a bedroom by themselves? Absurd. And upstairs nonetheless. She apparently did not know how her daughter got onto the windowsill because apparently the headboard and the window didn't overlap. But children can literally do anything. They can fit in small places. They can climb over anything. The fact that the window wasn't locked is another red flag. Greg states that he was in the garage on his computer because he works from home. Yeah, posting dirty fantasized tweets are totally working, Greg, and talking to teenagers on your Discord. Yeah, that's working. This poor 2-year-old girl that literally plunged from the second floor onto the concrete driveway had to freaking walk to the garage and tap on the door to get her father's attention that she had fallen. He thought it was his son outside because the voice was deep, but instead of freaking looking outside where the tapping was coming from like a normal human being, he ran inside to see his son was playing a video game, didn't see his 2-year-old daughter, then ran outside to find her on the ground, to which he shouted for Kai to call an ambulance. Why didn't he just look outside in the first place? The tapping was coming from outside. If you thought that was your son, why wouldn't you just open the door and be like, "Hey, what's going on? What do you want? Why are you tapping on the door?" Instead, he ran inside because he's like, "Oh, my son should be inside, so I should be checking inside to make sure he's inside." Are you stupid? Then this freaking clown pulls out his cell phone to take a video. Yeah, you heard me right. He decided to take a video while his dang daughter was laying on the concrete ground bleeding after falling from the freaking second-story window. She didn't just fall off her dang bike, Greg. She's seriously injured. What kind of parent even thinks in this situation that oh hey, I gotta cover my own butt because CPS is gonna think we neglected her, which you did, and not care about your daughter laying on the ground. Any other caring parent would literally be freaking out, staying next to their hurt child, talking to them, doing anything they can to help their child, not help themselves. Are you freaking kidding me? You are lower than low. You are absolutely disgusting, and the fact that you still have fans are way beyond me. He also states that he filmed it to the confused police guy, who I'm sure was like, God, this human is messed up, that he wanted to show the clip to the doctor so they can see this jagged landscape that his daughter apparently fell on. But the true reason actually was, like I stated before, to cover his own butt, because he then said that an incident in 2011 happened where he had a friend who threatened to off herself and make it look like he did it. He's talking about the whole thing with Shiloh that he taped and leaked on the internet, because we know by now he's a stand-up guy. The cop even states in the report that it seemed strange to him, his reasoning on recording. Making yourself look like a guilt-crazed goon by now. I really hope your daughter did this accidentally on her own and not with any help. I really hope the monster you are isn't that deep of a monster. Greg also states that his daughter is an active child and said that in the past she has climbed up and stood on tables. She also stood on the windowsills in their front room, so they make sure to keep the windows locked. Yet freaking Kai put her upstairs in a room alone, even though she climbs up on things, including the dang windowsill. And you're trying to tell me the window was locked? It must be one easy window to pick then, because if your 2-year-old can pick the lock of the window that you apparently had locked, which I don't believe for a second, then you should have the windows blocked off or something. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. She has a history of this stuff, yet Kai leaves her up in her dang room by herself. What a genius. The fact that he freaking taped his daughter, though, laying on the ground in pain, panning up to the open window, is just sick. I'm sick to my stomach just reading that. I couldn't even think straight in that situation. I'd be bawling next to my child. My heart aches for his daughter. I just physically want to jump into the police report so I can hug this child and tell her everything will be okay. The image of her just laying on the concrete ground with a fractured skull in my mind is killing me. And the fact that her own father is like, well, let me videotape to cover my own butt rather than be on the ground next to my hurt daughter is beyond me. My heart is literally broken for his daughter. She needs loving in this situation. Love from negligent parents that she will never get but deserves. The poor girl had multiple skull fractures, along with a, forgive me if I say this wrong, subgaleal hematoma and small subdural hematomas, which subgaleal hematoma is a serious complication that occurs when blood accumulates outside of the baby's skull, and subdural hematomas is when blood accumulates inside the brain between inner layers. It usually results from tears and bridging being inside the subdural space of the brain. Just reading all that makes me seriously want to cry. She also had bleeding and bruising in her brain. This poor baby. She didn't need surgery, but she has to be monitored because at the point of the fall, her injuries were not life-threatening, but can turn into a life-threatening thing. But the right side of her head had a skull fracture that was depressed and was pushing into her brain. The doctor did confirm it aligned up with a fall from a second-story window. This whole situation is sickening. It gets even worse, though. You would think that Greg would need time to wind down from the horrific events that just transpired, but no. He goes on to create a bunch of disgusting BDSM tweets on his Twitter. Also, did you know Greg's daughter's former name was Abigail? Like his stupid book Stones to Abigail, where he is dating and has relationships with the character Abigail? He changed her name after that, so I guess people won't put 2 and 2 together. That is disgusting. He then posts this just days after his daughter fell from the second-story window and could have lost her life. Stand in front of the window over there. The world should see how pathetic and helpless you are. I'm going to humiliate you, and right before you lose consciousness, I'm going to destroy you. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? How many red flags must go up? How many more days, weeks, months of torture should these poor children have to endure before someone takes the children away from these monsters? Your daughter was in the hospital recovering, and instead of being there for her, trying to make her feel better, you are posting smut on Twitter and then post this? Whatever the hell that is supposed to be, days after your daughter fell out of a window. Was this inspired by that event? I have such a deep headache right now. You have no idea. I don't understand this world. Those who deserve to have children are unable to have them, but evil monsters like this who don't deserve them are able to have them and make a million tweets about how he will impregnate you while he's at it. He needs to be deplatformed. We need to stick up for his children. They need a voice. They need help. They deserve a loving family with loving parents. Ones that will pay attention to them over looking for attention from preteens over social media. Ones that will put them first over taking selfies in the best light in the doctor's office. Ones that will take them places rather than keep them locked up in a house where young minors enter and exit at the sheer pleasure of their parents. This isn't right, and we can't stand by and let this happen. We need to talk more about these kids. We can still respect the children's privacy, but we still need to make this issue come to light. Remove these children from the Jackson household before another near-miss incident like this happens again. Let's protect those that can't protect themselves. Also, another note that I must bring up before I leave, Stevie Wolf, a commenter on Greg for a very long time and a YouTuber I really respect, posted this. Why did Greg only show the police video from his phone and Ring door cameras when his entire property is covered in cameras? Why do their stories sound rehearsed, especially one across the street, which faces the home? Surely the police noticed these discrepancies. Now you answer me that. Why didn't he show that footage? Why did he run around frantically taking videos with his phone instead? This is starting to sound a lot worse than what it already did. And I'm sorry that I was so enraged during this video. I'm sorry for my tone of voice. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was screaming at the computer. But I'm also not sorry because I'm really passionate about this. And if I have to tone down my passion just to make a video watchable, I'm not going to do that because these kids deserve someone who is impassioned for them, because apparently their parents aren't, and I know other YouTubers also feel a lot of passion towards this situation and want to help those children as well, and I am one of them. And I will show it no matter how it makes me look or how it makes me sound. Thank you, and let's get this idiot platformed.